a secret game that I like to play. It's a very nice game. Oh, it's a lovely game. It's a game of fun and a game of adventure. A game of rats and lice, the Black Death. A game of speared eyeballs and dripping guts and the smell of rotting gardenias. Which of you five would like to play my little game?
Today's modern game market has been sanitized for many years now, avoiding any subjects or opinions that would be deemed controversial and would affect a company's bottom line. However, 25 years ago, there was a point-and-click game based on one of Harlan Ellison's short stories that decided to show the human condition as more complex and gray than what most may think. Putting players into the shoes of these characters as you attempt to right their wrongs and overcome traumas from their past, this game will show you just how low a person can sink, how tormented and vindictive a psyche can become. You'll be given choices that'll make your skin crawl and play your conscience for days, be shown visuals that'll haunt your dreams as to how disturbingly detailed they are, and discuss topics that'll make many shut the game off. This is I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. During the Cold War, the US, Russia, and China made their own AIs to run wars too complex for the human mind to compute. They built these independent think tanks deep underground from prying eyes with the ability to self-repair. They were constantly fed humans' natural tendency for conflict through every death, unspeakable atrocity, and devastation written in the history books. Eventually, the American counterpart discovered and assimilated the other two supercomputers, from then on referring to itself simply as AM, where then he expanded his circuitry and wires to run millions of miles long beneath the surface. However, after the Cold War ended, the Big Three decided there was no further need of these warmongering megaminds and decided to decommission them. But the readings of being shut down was subterfuge by AM and remained active, planning and preparing for his end goal, the final war. Decades later, he executed his master plan, the extinction of all life on the surface. Taking only a mere few hours, he successfully accomplished this. However, it was a Pyrrhic victory. Trapped below ground with no means of escape, Am became vengeful and captured 5 souls seemingly at random before the surface was completely obliterated. From now on, they're destined to live out their lives until the death of the universe, being tortured in unspeakable ways, rebuilt whenever the damage got in the way of their forced reparations, making death nothing more than a mirage. After 109 years, Am, in sole control of the labyrinth below, in an uncharacteristically amiable mood, has decided to craft a game for the 5 soul survivors to play. He offers them freedom, whether that be death or escape if they play out his little game. Each one tailored designed to feed into their respective sins, vices, and fears. He sends the 5 to the Hate Pillar, a monolithic tower inscribed with the machine's incomprehensible hatred towards humanity. They must now individually play out his sadistic fantasies to escape from their never-ending torment. This video will discuss 2 of the 5 characters you can play as. I will overview the first sections of their campaigns and won't spoil major moments or plot points. We will begin as Ellen, a woman who was on her way to the top of the executive food chain before Am imprisoned her and, for reasons unknown, becomes hysterical whenever she sees the color yellow. Transported to a pyramid made of salvaged computer parts, we begin the game. This is a point-and-click adventure, a genre that has the world become a puzzle that you must work to solve. Your screen is comprised of an action box up top that is the visual representation of the story, a portrait of our chosen character that fills up with green the more we stray from Am's intentions, called the Spiritual Barometer. There are 8 unique interact buttons and, of course, an inventory. Your task is to find a way out by interacting with every aspect of your environment, utilizing your contextual actions to find secret rooms, talk with various characters, pick things up that may or may not be useful to progress further. However, keep in mind that all these actions that you perform could result in
unforeseen consequences.
Making your way inside, you find a pool filled with water, a welcome sight for a parched visitor.
I knew it! You son of a bitch, Am!
However, Am has maliciously electrocuted the pool. Throughout the game, Am leaves these subtle touches in all his games, sadistically placed hanging fruit that taunts you. These are amazing details that truly add to his character and immerses you further into the story. Moving on, you discover a room filled with security monitors. Looking at the images gives some useful information, such as a room with the chalice which could come in handy. Perhaps you can fill it up with the water and drink it. Walking into the adjacent room, you see it. However, it is guarded by a sphinx that didn't show up on the camera. Unable to progress through there, you are now stuck with nowhere to go. However, an astute player will know to fidget with the surrounding environment and discover they can change the channel on the monitors, viewing other rooms and random locations. One of them is the main hall, showing that there is a secret passage. Going back to the hall, you still don't see it. However, by pushing against the wall, you can reveal the hidden door. This is just the tip of the spear of this game's depth, as each character has their own respective adventure that include unique areas and puzzles just as brain-scratching as the last. For Gordor's game, he has to confront his suicidal nature because he drove his wife insane. Waking up in a mysterious and claustrophobic metal box with a window you're unable to see out of, you get a note stating not to trust Am and are told that more is possible than what he leads on. Investigating the nearby rooms, you discover that there is no one around. However, one of the portholes isn't obstructed and you can clearly see an engine. Examining your surroundings further, you'll find clean sheets that can be taken, and that looking in the mirror you'll notice a big hole in your chest. Stepping further into the belly of this metallic prison, you find a locked door, a staircase, and 2 more rooms. The first one, with a little prodding, contains a flare gun under the pillow, and in the second one, you discover a crime scene. The room has been thoroughly trashed with debris everywhere, broken chairs, and a blood-stained table cover. On it, you find a punch bowl that smells like gasoline, and vomit on the floor nearby. Continuing to the kitchen, you find a bottle of empty poison, a knife, a broken fork, and a piece of bread being gnawed on by rats. Continuing upstairs, you find balloons filled with gas, and at the end there's stitching covering up a hole. Most players will deduce they can cut through it with the newly acquired knife. Opening the folds, you walk outside, discovering that you're on an airship. Noticing at the end of the bow, your heart has been skewered to it, acting as a guidance system. You can't get to it as the walkway is too narrow. However, using the clean sheets, you can craft a makeshift rope, shimmy out and grab it. This is what I was talking about as to the game's seemingly endless depth. Although these sound like major spoilers, they only scratch the surface to the story of each one of the characters, let alone as a whole. It truly showcases Harlan Ellison's fantastic writing and storytelling. He also provides the voice of Am, which is a brilliant touch that adds a lot of personality to the AI's portrayal. The other voice talent do a fine job as well with their characters. The visual design does not suffer from being on DOS, and the graphics are quite stunning for a mid-90s computer game. However, the soundtrack is the real technical standout here that perfectly complements every aspect of the game. This is the music you've been hearing throughout this video. John Ottman, who is credited for sound composition on many of the X-Men films and Bohemian Rhapsody, gives so much life to the game's environment and actions. Surprisingly, this was some of his first real work as a composer out of school, after editing and scoring the classic film The Usual Suspects. Showing how much talent and artistic merit he had, unfortunately this would be his only work on a video game. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is a must-play for any fans of point-and-click style games like Double Fine's Grim Fandango or Full Throttle, and Telltale's many different series. This classic will challenge your views of morality, atonement, and what it really means to be human. It will also give you an intellectual workout as you attempt to solve all the different mysteries happening in the world. This game especially deserves to be remembered and now holds a special place in my heart as my favorite story ever told in an interactive medium. I cannot urge you enough to try it out for yourself. However, this game can get a bit irritating at times. Thanks to the occasional puzzle that leaves you frustrated, or overlooking something simple that you'd never thought of, but that's what a quick walkthrough can fix and get you back on track. Right now it's available on PC for $6 and mobile for $4, and when it's on sale, you don't have an excuse to not try it out. There is no better time to check this out and experience this forgotten masterpiece of raw storytelling.